Okay, so back to this accompany me idea. How big do you think that market would be? Would it be worth your time, do you think? It all depends on who you define as your customer segment, and this is one of the things that is very important, kind of a crucial idea to what we're doing here, is that sometimes you have to, with one, if you think that the value that you provide is for a particular customer segment, that customer segment might not be big enough, it might not be the right one, and so you might need to change. Originally, the Company Me group was focused on high school students that were in musical theater that needed to try out for auditions, and based on that idea, you could figure out how big of a market that would be. And we'll talk through that a little bit in a second. So you need to understand how big is it, and so you need to first understand where the need is, who has the needs, and then you have to size the market, see some competitors, and see your growth potential. So Steve Blank uses three different numbers: the total available market. You can find these in databases. We're not going to focus on this in this class. So I'm just going to kind of gloss over that. It's always fun to have really big numbers, but I think they're not really that relevant for you and interesting. We will focus on served available market, and so the idea is to figure out how many people need or could use this product, have the money, and it would be a good fit for them. So and then you're going to size that in number of dollars and number of units sold, number of people. You can use a lot of different units, but in order to do that, you have to know where the need is, so you have to talk to people, and then you can kind of expand out from there with some logic and connection to some databases. And then the one that we care about most is, of that portion of the served available market, how much of that portion of the pie can you actually eat? And so focusing on who are you going to sell to first, how are you going to win them? Now he's talking about 1, 2, and 3 years. How many customers is that? Again, customers, units, number of people. But we're focusing on, for your target market, how many people do you think you can actually get during the semester to buy this? And that's, you need to talk to customers and channel partners to understand that. So back again to the size in the market. We're going to totally skip the total addressable market. You should think about the served available market. How many people could it be? Because again, if you're actually doing this for real, you want to know, is this going to be big enough that it could actually be interesting for you? But in this class, we're going to focus on the target market. So who's going to be the first buyers of this product or service that you have? As you're trying to develop that, and this is relevant just as general information. If you're trying to figure out how big the served available market is, to see if it's worth your time, you got to make sure that the numbers that you use make sense. So for example, I've had teams say, oh, we got a smartphone app for tourists visiting Las Vegas, and they say the population of Las Vegas is 538,317. Well, that number makes no sense because that population number doesn't include unincorporated parts of Clark County. For example, like UNLV is not in Las Vegas. Doesn't include other municipalities. And if it's a smartphone and it's focused on tourists, the population of Las Vegas doesn't matter. So sometimes when I say statistics, people just kind of reach for numbers, but the numbers have to make sense in order to assess, is this actually worth your time? So this is something like MacGyver. If you've seen that show from a long time ago, you've taken a lot of different tools to try to fashion together something that will actually work, or it's like similar to some interview questions that you might have if you're trying to get into the CIA or something. They ask you questions that don't really they don't really care that you get the right answer, but that you show your logic. So as you're trying to size a market, you have to have good logic and use good numbers. And there's a lot of tools that UNLV and Steve Blank provides a lot of tools too. That's it.